All Elite Wrestling is now undisputed. Kyle O'Reilly makes his expected debut with AEW Dynamite in North Carolina. A lot to come with that. The wrestling world reacts to that. Plus, another wrestling organization is looking at getting their hands on now former AAW talent, or AAA talent is trying to get WWE talent. Plus, we have a world record being broken by the Queen of Hearts. That's right. We have WWE talent going to different organizations. Queen of Hearts on a Guinness World Record. All right, you going to finish your shopping list? All the anxiety. We're going to get right into it. Sportskeeda, top story of the day, baby. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out, watch out, watch out. You got to watch out. You better watch out. If you don't do anything else, you best watch out there. What's up, everybody? I'm Kellam, joined by Jose G down in Florida, a part of America that looks like a certain part of the male anatomy. In Nebraska,
if you that. You got to stop saying that, bro. Come on. I don't want to be the only one of this group. Did you see what Jerry? I don't want to be the dick of the group, dude.
Did you see what Jerry did? Every time I introduce him from Florida, you'll just be like, Jerry's in Nebraska. I don't have any fun jokes about that. This is Sportskeeda Wrestling. How you guys doing? Every weekday we do the top story of the day. We will tape a Christmas special after this. That's why we have some lights on and all this different stuff. So we're taping it. You will get content from us for the holiday and the weekend and all the different stuff here. Shout out to all the diehards that are with us here. Let's hear from the new people. What's going on with you? We will get into the big news from AEW. That broke down last night. We have news about another organization trying to get their hands on former WWE talent as well, and a lot more. Let's jump right into it. Last night, All Elite Wrestling. You covered this on the debrief, Jose. Quite an episode that is available on our channels, on our video channels, and our podcast channel, by the way. Subscribe to us. Thank you guys. You guys made this one of the top 100 wrestling podcasts on Apple in the United States. So thank you so much. Kyle O'Reilly shocks the system of AEW. This one was expected, Jeremy. Of any of the potential players that could have jumped from WWE to All Elite Wrestling, Johnny Gargano still a free agent. Kevin Owens signing recently. The big possible free agents there. This one we expected for a while, and he made the attack at the end of a big match, a singles match. Adam Cole victorious. Little bit of a tease of some discontent there with the Young Bucks. Mm-hmm. Who brought Adam Cole into AEW?
Yeah, I think. I think this was going to be the plan all along. You saw it coming. Eventually, once Kenny Omega comes back, it's going to be the Undisputed, whatever you're going to call them, whatever this group is going to be called. They're going to be taking on the Elite, and because you saw the Young Bucks, they didn't look too thrilled to see Kyle O'Reilly. And Adam Cole, he left with Fish and O'Reilly. And
what if this turns out to be like the Young Bucks versus Red Dragon for the custody of Adam?
For the custody of. But man, who would have thought?
Adam Cole on a pole. It's gonna be Adam Cole.
Adam Cole on a pole.
Get Vince Russo on it. We're gonna get this going here, bro.
You pull one of them on a pole, bro.
Much like us 2 years ago when AEW started. Much like us, Tony Khan did not dream of this and tweeted that he is still amazed that he was able to reunite Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, and Kyle O'Reilly on Dynamite tonight. It doesn't seem like it should have been possible. It still doesn't feel real. The only reason it was possible because you great fans supporting AEW. Thank you. So also got Adam Cole on Instagram and Twitter saying the game has changed. It sure has. Britt Baker giving her a seal of approval as well. And Jim Ross also tweeting. So Jim Ross tweeting that it was a great get to get Kyle O'Reilly. He loves his game. He's an authentic badass, naturally nasty. And O'Reilly came in smoking last night, didn't he?
Oh, he absolutely did. And we discussed this last night on the debrief, Rico and I, that he actually had a really positive and loud reaction. At least that's what it came all across TV to me, even though that we knew that he's gonna be there. He was gonna be part of this surprise. It was just only a matter of time. He was like, oh, okay, we know he's there. But the fact that we had Bobby Fish, Cole, and O'Reilly, three of them together in one ring, posing there for about a good 15 seconds, just so the camera can soak it in, just so the fans can soak it in. And then the Young Bucks come in with the discontent. Adam Cole doesn't know what to do. I think this was fantastic. I am a fan. And you heard the AEW fans, Undisputed.
Yeah.
What do you call them? You can't call them Undisputed.
Oh,
You can't call them Undisputed.
The Undisputed Elite. WWE doesn't have Undisputed lockdown. You can't call them the Undisputed Era. You could call
it
them
might
something.
be too much. You're getting into copyright area there.
Yeah, no, but I mean, if you can't copyright the name Undisputed, because that means you're going to have to copyright the Undisputed Heavyweight Champion of the world, Tyson Fury, or the Undisputed Middleweight Heavyweight Champion of the world, Canelo Alvarez. So you're going to have
I'm just saying, for All Elite Wrestling, I don't think you want it to be similar, but you don't want it to be the same phrase.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you can't. Yeah, WWE can't lock down one single word. So, they could use Undisputed in some sort of way if they want to. But yeah, well, it remains to be seen right now.
Or just drop the Era altogether and just call themselves the Undisputed.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep. It'll be interesting to see. You heard that little swell from the crowd before the camera picked up O'Reilly. They didn't. He came in through the crowd apparently, and you could hear the crowd just building up to the excitement.
They loved it. They absolutely loved it.
And then the internet exploded once they saw O'Reilly and Fish and Adam Cole standing side by side. Truly a great moment. We were expecting it, but it was still great to see watch it all play out last night.
Kamar Bell saying you can still call them Undisputed Era in AEW. I won't have any problems with it. I think it would just be
well, the Undisputed Era is probably trademarked, but
yeah. So I don't expect that to happen.
Yeah, Undisputed Elite.
Undisputed Elite just sounds redundant. It sounds like NWO Wolfpack.
Yeah.
So there's
check out this comment by Ricky Castillo. I fangirled when I saw Sting, Punk, and Darby's face paint.
Yeah, that was
come
badass.
on, Ricky.
Yeah, hell of a main event.
But fangirl, come on.
That was
hell of a main
badass.
event. Really reminded me of those banger 6-man matches you saw the Shield have in like 2013, 2014.
Yeah.
When they made the 6-man match feel like a real special thing.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. It was a good show. I thought the opening was really cool. I thought the main event was cool. There was a bunch of meh throughout the rest of the show, but the opening was really strong and the ending was really strong. So exciting stuff.
This would be a great trio to have formed because they worked really well together. Sting, Darby, and Punk. It'd be great if you bring those trios titles out and you have those three. You have maybe there's a lot of great trios. It's setting up to have a trios title in 2022, just because you have so many great trios, and now you got Christian Cage with Jurassic Express. I don't know where Marco Stunt is now, but apparently Christian's with them. Nice little Christmas shirt. You always got your Death Triangle, so there's so many great ones. Hopefully they bring the trios titles out sometime this year.
It's just another belt. You can do a tournament, but it's just another belt. They got enough titles as it is to me.
Like WWE doesn't already have enough titles, Kevin.
They have too many belts there too. You know what I mean? So it's another thing that you'll be, why isn't it on? Oh, because you don't have enough time. If they did like a tournament, but they already have enough tournaments as it is too. So I don't know. Just
I think
they have a tournament that's going to go all the way until Double or Nothing. So I mean, they're just going to add another tournament on top of that. It's hard to keep up with all the tournaments.
I think there's room for trios titles in AEW.
I agree with you, Jeremy. I think there's definitely. I think that would be.
It's a point.
I think that would make them
then.
Absolutely different from WWE if they had a trios title. That's what made Lucha Underground so interesting because they did have a trios title.
Yeah, Ring of Honor did it.
Yeah, but I didn't think it was. I thought it was redundant then, and you would forget who the champions were all the time, unless it was a prominent tag team that already had the belts already.
Not
or
Ring
was
of
it
Honor. That basically put Shane Taylor Promotions on the map with that 6-man.
Before
tag.
Then, it meant nothing.
It didn't really exist until about that time, though.
True, they didn't do anything with it before that. I don't know. I just think it's keep it special now and then, or have a night of trio stuff. Make it an attraction, not something I expect all the time, because then it just becomes a cage match, and cage matches used to be a lot more exciting than they were.
Well, you know what, Kevin? I strongly disagree with you.
Okay. Story number 2.
It's okay. It's okay to be wrong.
I totally understand how you feel that it may be wrong, but it's not.
Okay.
Let's move on to this story right over here.
Look at those
All
guys.
those guys.
Steven
Lucha.
Chambers is ahead of us here. AAA has trios done it. Yes, they do.
Good
AAA,
segue.
AAA, one of the top promotions in Latin America, running huge venues across Mexico, has their huge show coming up, and they're looking at several WWE talents to be acquired for this show. Killer Cross, who's had a run in Mexico before, Keith Lee, and Hit Row are all reportedly in line to possibly get themselves a nice, sweet little payday at a big arena event south of the border in Mexico. Jose, what do we know here?
So you're absolutely right about that. So Dave Meltzer, good old Uncle Dave, said that the company was reaching out to some of the wrestlers who were recently released by WWE for their upcoming Rey of Reyes event. As you guys know, back in November, we did have a good string of releases. Among those names, Karrion Kross, Nia Jax, Keith Lee, Hit Row, all those guys were announced. And at the moment, it looks like for Rey the Reyes, they're interested in getting Lince Dorado, who was part of one of those releases earlier in the year, Grand Metalik. They're looking to get Harry Smith, Mia Yim, Ember Moon, Karrion Kross.
It's a lot of former WWE people on one show.
Hit Row and Tegan Knox. And not to mention that John Morrison, we reported yesterday that John Morrison is challenging for the AAA Mega Championship against Vikingo. So guess who's going to be there at that time? Taya Valkyrie is probably going to be making her way. So AAA looks like we didn't see this coming because everybody's saying AEW, but AAA right now looks like it's going to be the one to gain a lot of these stars. And I think this is great because all these guys can use some time in Mexico because it is a completely different style.
And they have television. They have a huge television.
They have a huge television market, not to mention a partnership with one of our partners, Lucha Libre Online, which is one of the biggest providers for wrestling media right now. So, dude, the sky is the limit. I think this is a really good plan. If this happens, we can see some surprises for Rey the Reyes.
Oh, man, it's going to put a lot more eyes on the product, too. I mean, you already got your hardcore fans that'll watch it anyways. But if you include all of those wrestlers, that's just gonna make it probably one of their biggest buys in terms of, I believe. Did they go on Fight? AAA? Did they go on Fight?
They do have their events periodically on Fight. I don't know how often. You can get their stuff. Sometimes their stuff has been on Twitch as well. Nishad reminding us as well that they do have a channel on Pluto.tv. So they do have, that's a deal with Viacom. So they do have some distribution digitally. Most people get them over cable in Mexico. They are on some cable systems here in the States, but it's not exactly the same show. Sometimes it's just like a highlight show. But they have periodically have English commentary. With that much American talent that you're bringing in from WWE, one would have to think that is this a move by AAA to maybe get more of a foothold in the United States?
Yeah, kind of like what New Japan did the last couple of years that kind of got stifled with the pandemic. But you kind of wonder if if they're thinking the same thing that New Japan has done the last couple of years.
Think about this. AAA, you know this, Jose, huge inroads with Latin America, already having, the ability to connect with a Spanish-speaking audience across the border here in the United States. I know this is theoretical. This is not news. But if you told me, they do this Reyes show, and then immediately announce, by the way, Friday before WrestleMania, we're going to run a stadium and we're going to run an arena in Dallas, Texas, and you do that in Texas, that there is going to be a huge Tex-Mex crowd that's going to show up for that.
Yeah,
and that's you're going to have a WrestleMania crowd there as well.
Not just Texas, yeah, but even though, yeah, absolutely. I think if you put on a show in Dallas for AAA, somewhere around the border, it doesn't have to be per se in Dallas, but Dallas adjacent. I think they could be very successful and pull off a really good show. But I think you're absolutely right. I think they're kind of doing the same moves that New Japan is doing, and I'm all for it, man, because I think people don't pay enough attention to AAA because AAA is different rules, different style, but is hella entertaining.
Yeah, and you notice, especially with Ring of Honor going on a hiatus, that creates a void. And so if they want to really get a foothold in it, that they're starting out with this show, and who knows what, everybody's still operating like Ring of Honor is coming back. It really feels like they are after the success they had at Final Battle, but it's still up in the air. There's a lot that can happen in 4 months. So then that kind of
independent market is wide open, guys. I can tell you, I work with a promotion. Jose, you have inroads with it as well. There is a lot of talk of what the spring in wrestling is going to look like. Not a lot of people looking forward past that first quarter, But a lot of people, when their non-compete opens up and they're no longer getting paid on the downside of their WWE contract, it's worth noting a lot of people get released, they get paid until the end of the 90-day non-compete. They do get paid money. So it's worth noting, this is kind of interesting here. One comment, Stephen Chambers saying John Morrison would be a good fit for AAA. We reported on the show yesterday that he is in line to do something with AAA. He's been a champion there before in his time away from WWE. He did also appear on Lucha Underground, which was a AAA production, but it wasn't per se a AAA show. It was kind of like non-canon AAA. And they already have the ability to produce television. They already know what they're doing in that regard. Quite the play here to get that much. That isn't just, one or two names. That's Morrison, that's Killer Cross, it's Keith Lee, that's all of Hit Row.
There's money, bro. There's money behind that. But, there was some controversy with AAA and CMLL a few months ago because there were some problems with the cartels down there, that the cartels were like, listen, we're not letting anybody in the city. We're shutting down. They had to cancel one of the CMLL shows. They had to cancel one of the AAA shows because of the cartel. So that's another dangerous situation. But we have
whole
to see
different
what happens.
Lockdown there. It's a whole different lockdown.
It's a whole different situation in Mexico. But we'll see what happens. Rey de Reyes is one of their big shows next to Triple Mania. So only time will tell, but this will be a great get. We've already had John Morrison in AAA before. We've had Killer Cross with Scarlett Bordeaux also be in AAA in the past. So this will be a nice homecoming for those guys. But having the likes of Keith Lee make an appearance in AAA, I think that can be great just because of how imposing of a person he is. I think he'll be a great fit in AAA. We'll see. We'll see how it goes, man.
Certainly an interesting time. I think that WrestleMania weekend, if we're still not dealing with huge COVID numbers and Omicron isn't an issue, could be very interesting here. A little bit more of an update, by the way. This isn't a full news item. WWE is still monitoring the COVID-19 situation with the recent Omicron wave. They do have their annual holiday tour. These are high-profile live events that aren't televised in bigger markets. They are scheduled this week to play Madison Square Garden in New York City, Tampa as well, and Toronto, Ontario, Canada. A show north of the border in Quebec has been postponed until late into 2022, into March. And then we have these other shows. The show on the 29th in Toronto, that show will feature Trish Stratus as a special guest host. That apparently is still on. Also, WWE operating on the idea that it's day to day. So this could also affect what's going on with day one. There's also talk that they could potentially, if people do pop or exposed to COVID-19, they're kind of scheduling everything in the next week and a half to where they could somehow get past that week that leads right into the pay-per-view, day one, ride out on the hype they have now, keep as many people that may have been exposed or tested positive in the clear so that they're able to be on the pay-per-view on January 1st, that's still, hoping that you have a mild
next
case.
Saturday.
A lot of people having mild forms of COVID with this most recent one. You're not feeling great, but having mild forms of it. No, we're not doctors or anything. So that's a lot of time here. This is really, really tight. So the next, 24 hours, we're going to know what's going on with that day one card. If anything's off that card. And you have ring crew. This isn't just wrestlers. This is, camera crew, ring crew, a lot of people affected by it. So
and if
everyone's staying safe.
Yeah, and if everybody has been vaccinated and they come back, they can easily come back and test negative within a week, and they're going to be perfectly fine. And it'll be interesting. Obviously, with SmackDown already taped, it's going to be interesting to see how Raw plays out on Monday, and if anything just looks out of the ordinary of somebody that you've seen a lot of recently just disappear on
rematches
Monday.
With the same 4 or 5 people over and over again.
That's just Raw in a nutshell anyway. So
but it's a 3-hour show. I think it's easier to pull something off like that on a 3-hour show. I don't know if you could do that on a 2-hour show. So you almost feel lucky that you taped SmackDown, 2 of them in 1 week. And if you need to, you can do a best of. They can always do it if they have to. They can do a show that's padded with, like, they had that one time with a blizzard where they had to lean on old footage and stuff like that. The first few weeks of the pandemic, they did we're going to do an entire WrestleMania match on TV. We just don't have enough talent that we can test in time for this year. Ricky's asking, how is Rick Ucchino? He's going to join us. Hope he didn't have COVID. As far as we know, he didn't have COVID.
Hopefully
he join us in, we're taping our Christmas Eve special in a little bit, our holiday special.
He'll be joining us for that.
That'll be fun. I'm already drinking beers for that. Let's jump into our
way ahead of you, Kevin. Way ahead of you.
way ahead of you. All right, Jeremy, come on, catch up.
I've got a late night, so I'm starting later.
You're buffering early. All right.
Yeah,
good on you.
I've already hit it hard the last 2 nights, and I'm going for a third tonight. So I'm it's Diet Pepsi here. I got to go work out after.
Here
this,
we go.
So.
Here, I want to get this one. Arcade Gaming saying some saying WrestleMania might be canceled due to COVID. I don't think so. That's way ahead of the picture right now. It's way
in Texas. It's in Texas. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Let's count. It's in Texas.
No.
Let's count on it not being canceled. I can assure you that, Arcade Gaming.
It's going to be mask free and fancy free as well.
And bring your gun. And bring your gun. And bring your gun. Let's get into the story, guys.
Yes, this is a great one here. You heard this a couple weeks ago that the Guinness World Records book had awarded Natalya the most pay-per-view matches for a female WWE superstar. Now they have updated it with more research. She has scored the most wins as a WWE performer, which is very, very impressive. Give me more details here, guys.
Yeah, we got in addition to her most pay-per-view appearances, most matches overall for a female, you can add to that, and most wins with 641 as of today. That is a number that no woman has ever matched. Natalya debuted with the WWE back in 2008, has won the Divas title, as well as the SmackDown Women's title and tag titles with Tamina. So she's won each of those titles one time and been pretty durable throughout her career. I can't remember a time where she was ever hurt for a long period of time, right?
She is one of those talents that is just so dynamic. She's done a bunch of things. She had to do some things that nobody wanted to do or anything like that. But I mean, absolutely deserving of it. She's one of those people that walks out of the ring in her last match and should just be handed the Hall of Fame ring right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You think that she probably should have more titles than she's had. A lot of people are probably going to agree with that if they've been a fan of hers for so long.
There was more popular talents than her. I don't think it's wrong to say that. But it is something to say that she served a William Regal type role where you needed somebody to move the story along. You needed somebody to be dynamic and make a less experienced star look better than they were. You needed a ring general. She was that.
Yeah.
And the fundamentals of putting on a show, you need someone who's not going to be the star that makes the star look like a star.
Yeah.
And Natalya did that. She was definitely in that Victoria lane of you're going to have, she's going to make big matches. She can lose and always look credible. You know what I mean? And when you have somebody like that and they don't lose credibility and they're never dead in the water, even when she had to do the farting gimmick, it was still like she could still have great matches.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. The great thing about Natalya is that, for example, there will be no Charlotte Flair without Natalya.
Absolutely, 100%.
Without that match at NXT, our Revolution, I think that match, without that match, there would be no Charlotte Flair where she is today. Let's just put it like that.
Eric with a great comment here. The women's division owes everything to Natty. I completely agree.
I agree to that.
She's one of the few people that is still there from that time frame in 08, 09 and hung out and really, sacrificed a lot of things here. I think it's worth noting that there's things that women do in professional wrestling that men don't have to do in terms of personal sacrifices, like starting a family and going through those things. It's much, much harder for some people to do. Yeah. And some other people have made the choice to do that. I'm not making any personal, speculation or anything, but I mean, how much, married into the business, husband went through the injuries, all those different things, the Hart family, a lot. She's definitely one of those special people, and I appreciate the designation of it too, So, all right, let's get out of here. We got a typical Christmas special here. We will have that up for you tomorrow afternoon. Do we have an exact time where we're going to run that? By the way,
we're going to run it at 6:30, our usual time. It's going to be a post-production situation. So just leave your comments as you guys watch the show, but it's going to be nice. It's going to be interactive. It's going to be a Freestyle Friday version of the Christmas Eve edition of the top story.
So we'll have questions for each other. We'll air our grievances. It'll be like festive.
An airing of grievances.
It'll be a session. It'll be
right as we sign off here. Let's just get him in because we're about to tape this special. Rick, are you going to come in and air your grievances?
Hey, Rick's here.
We're wrapping up today's top story. All right, we're wrapping up today's top story. We're going to do a wrestling Festivus airing of grievances. And so we just came upon that idea,
I am festive ready. I am ready to go.
I love it. Love
right.
it.
Loaded.
Let's get to it. Rick's going to be with us. We're taping that now. Thank you guys so much. We hope you have a safe and happy holiday. If you can, get your COVID test where you can find them. Keep your nose and your mouth covered when you're running in public. Have a great, great, happy holiday. We hope you get some wrestling stuff that's really cool. If you do, tweet it at us at SKWrestling_. Follow us all on the Twitter machines. You can see our logos there on screen. Thank you guys so much. Merry Christmas. Merry Wrestling to you all. And remember, when watching wrestling, do the most important thing, whether it's Undisputed Elite or whatever it's going to be called. What?
You have to enjoy it, guys. Enjoy wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!